Hello class, this is Demetrius Wilson again with Human Relations Strategies for Success. This chapter we're talking about creativity and human relations, chapter 10. As always, our learning objectives are explain the importance of creativity, very important to be creative in this learned environment. Define creativity, discuss the relationship between perception and creativity, and remember perception is reality, and we'll discuss that a little bit further. List the steps in the creative process, describe creativity in the workplace, compare and contrast creative methods for groups, and give examples of ways to solve problems creatively. So creativity, something that's very important in the workplace. Everything's not just X's and O's as it is on the playing field, or ones and zeros as it is in binary codes and computer programming. Creativity definitely plays a big part in the business environment. The ability to produce ideas or problems to solutions that are unique, appropriate, and also valuable. It's connected to self-esteem and relationships. Sometimes being creative, you have to put yourself out there on a limb, and that's a good thing. It builds character. It's required to deal with international competition, right? So if you want to compete above and beyond, you're going to have to be creative. And sometimes you have to think outside of the box. Just think about the guy who sold what they call the pet rocks. He got a bunch of rocks, he wrote names on them, he put them in a box, and he sold them and became a millionaire. It does not depend on personality type. You could be personality type A, personality type B, whatever you want to classify those are as. Materials used in creating, products produced, and it does not depend on a particular environment. You could be creative in Los Angeles, and you could be creative in Orange County, and you could be creative in Texas. So characteristics of creative people. They have flexibility and fluency in ideas, right? So you're flexible, you're not typecast into one thing, you're open-minded and you're open to new ideas, and can become very creative. Creative ideas, little c creativity is used to solve everyday problems, right? So you look at a problem and sometimes people don't think outside the box, and you can come in and say, you know what, let's try this a different way. And big C creativity is used to imagine ideas and create products that change our lives, right? Like that thing called it's like this water stick that you take out if you're in the wilderness, or they sell them in third world countries where if you put it's like a straw, you put it in a very like dirty water and you suck it through the straw, then it cleanses the water. So that's something that's big and creative that can change lives for people in third world countries. Then you have the ability to know a good idea from a bad one. So I've had my fair share of bad ideas, and I've had my fair share of good ideas. So you have to know which ones are good, which ones are bad, and know when to scrap it. Like Kenny Rogers says, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, right? You got to know when the deal is done. If you have one of those bad ideas, you should just walk away, be able to admit it, and then go on to what the next best idea might be. Optimal experience, individual gains pleasure from the creative process, right? So you're excited about the creative process. It's something that's enthusiastic for you. You get up in the morning, you say, hey, I'm going to go in and have a good day at work because I'm going to do something very creative. So a creative process itself, rather than achieving a goal. So it's not that I want to sell $1 million worth of widgets, it's that I want to create something new. And when you're in the what you call the flow, it's a motion in which each step of a creative task flows effortlessly into the next, right? So everything's running smooth. I'm putting things all over the board. I'm writing everywhere, and I'm putting this thing together just because my creative abilities are heightened, and I'm running and I'm flowing very smoothly. So that flow is a very optimal experience. So components found in a flow experience. So activity requires specific skill and is challenging, right? So you have to have a certain type of skill, and it needs to be challenging. It can't just be if I put A on top of B, then I get C. Attention is completely absorbed by the activity, and the activity has clear goals. These are your goals and objectives. So remember, objectives are short-term, goals are long-term. Feedback is clear, right? So your feedback probably coming from upper management or some type of management. A person concentrates only on the task itself. A person achieves a sense of personal control, right? So you have a control over the project. And a person loses a sense of self-awareness, right? You're not worried about everything else, how people see you, as we discussed the looking glass self and things of that nature. You're worried about the creativity and the process itself. and a person loses a sense of time, right? So I always look up at the end of the workday. I'm like, man, time is going by too fast. But some of my employees, they say, oh, I wish the day would go by faster. But I'm more apt to be in that flow experience because things are moving, things are changing from my perspective. Intuition, right? So if any of you guys have ever heard, mother's wit, it's like intuition. So if you're a little bit younger, you probably haven't heard the term mother's wit. But intuition is direct perception or insight. It's important to creativity than scholastic ability, right? So intuition, I've got this hunch, right? My spidey senses are tingling, right? It's not something that's scholastic, that's learned or intelligent like that. It's just this other sense, this other feeling. My intuition tells me that we should go with A, even though everybody says we should go with B. Traditional intelligence and creativity are not linked, right? You don't have to be super smart to be creative. You could be creative and make a lot of money without being very, very smart or very intelligent. Creativity requires divergent thinking, right? So you don't always think right, left, right, left. Sometimes you may think left, 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 because that's just the direction that my thought process and my thought pattern took me. So perception and creativity. So habit is a stumbling block to creativity. So if you come into office and you do ABC every day, that is a stumbling block to creativity. It will stifle your creativity. Collective habits of thought occur when groups have their own beliefs about what should be done and how it should be done. And every organization that I go into, everybody says this is how it should be done. This is the way that we've always done it. But I'm a big proponent of the second right answer. There's always a better way to do everything. Perception is the way in which a person views the world, and like I said earlier, perception is reality. So if someone perceives you as a certain thing, then that's reality. Is that the truth? No, but there's two different things between truth and reality. Reality is what they see it as. So if somebody in the office that I report to sees me as a jerk, that's reality because that's their perception, right? Doesn't matter if I'm a jerk or not, it just matters how they perceive it. So the nine dot puzzle used to show people's respect for rules that don't exist, right? So that's the thing where they say, okay, connect these lines and everything, but you stay within certain confines and rules that people don't even tell you that you have to follow. Nobody said that you can't lift up your pen and draw a circle and this, and that. So you have to be careful about sticking into certain rules that that you don't even need to adhere to. So I had a lady that she eventually started, well, ended up reporting to me. But prior to that, we were at the same level, and she was printing these pages. And when she started reporting to me, I said, "Hey, what are those pages you print?" She said, "Well, I have to print 1,000 pages to get these 2 pages out and to fax them." And I said, "Well, why wouldn't you create it as a PDF and just print those 2 pages?" And she just was living within those confines that she had to print the 998 pages of waste and kill all those baby trees and throw them in the shredder and just use those other 2 pages. And obviously I changed that. So I don't know if she really didn't know what to do or if it was just that she wanted to take a break and stand there at the printer for 15 minutes. Characteristics of creative people: expert knowledge and openness to new experiences. They have an independent flowing spirit. They have internal motivation, so intrinsic motivators. So remember, intrinsic, that's inside. It's not money. It's not bonus motivated. It's things like sense of achievement, sense of completion. So intrinsic motivators motivate a person from within. Extrinsic motivators, those are like money, bonuses, things of that nature, come from outside source such as money and fame. And then persistence. If you're creative, you got to be persistent. At the job that I'm currently at, I interviewed there 4 years ago, and or maybe about 4.5 years ago, and had 6 interviews. And you know what? Shot down. Right, like a ship flying right, or a plane flying right into the ground. So I had 6 interviews, thought I had the job. They said no, no. Came back 3 years later and interviewed and ended up getting the position. So you have to be persistent in what you do, whether it be in the workplace, in life, relationships, anything. Be persistent, and good things will happen. So the creative process is the ways in which creativity helps develop ideas and solve problems. Perception and preparation ensure the idea is useful and real, right? So is the idea useful and is it real? If it's not useful, then what are you coming up with the idea for? We have to stick with reality. Incubation involves research and experimentation. Inspiration or illumination, developing creativity is transformed into a real concept, right? So you have this great idea, but how do you put that idea on paper and figure out how to put it out in the marketplace? And verification, your newly created concept is proven to be worthwhile. Who can verify that for you? So if I have something that has to do with phones, who's going to verify that it's a good idea? Do I have a certain group of people that they can check out my products and say, hey, this is what we think about this. This is a go. You should sell it, or this is not something that's going to sell. Scrap this one and move on to the next thing. So workplace creativity. So you have to have alignment, self-initiated activity, unofficial activity, serendipity, diverse stimuli, and within company communication. So there are different ways to be creative within the workplace. Some may be directed by your manager. Some may be that you just step out on your own and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. Or some may be that you request a project from your manager and say, you know what, nobody else is doing this. I want to step up and do it. And that's a great way to keep a position and show that you're there for the long haul, as opposed to saying, hey, I got my work done. Let me just open up this handy dandy spreadsheet and just pretend like I'm doing something for the next 3 hours. So creativity in the workplace. So managing creativity, create a climate of deferred judgment, increase motivation to increase creativity, right? So you want to motivate people to be creative. Offer a reward system. You come up with a great idea. Maybe somebody gets a bonus or some type of a gift certificate or a lunch. Make work challenging and fulfilling. Make it fun. Make it interesting. Don't just make it drab and boring. Fostering creativity, socializing with other creative people, right? So you socialize with other creative people, you come up with good ideas, and it works. You guys bounce things off of each other. But if you're around very uncreative, very bland people, then it's not going to stimulate your thinking. Boost the creative output for both of you. Incorporating fun in daily routine produces creative energy, right? So, if you guys want to look up, it's at the Fisherman's Wharf in Seattle. That's where they came up with the fish philosophy, right? So they're in the fish house. The fish stink. Hey, can I have a big trout? Here's your trout. There you go, ma'am. And they wanted to make it fun, so they started throwing the fish all across the Fisherman's Wharf, and just made it a fun experience for everybody. Brainstorming. So remember, in brainstorming, before I even read the technical definition, if we're brainstorming and we're putting ideas on the board, it doesn't matter how stupid Demetrius Wilson's idea is, you still have to put it on the board. Now, when we get to the filtering process, we will cross my stupid idea out, but you can't block other people's ideas. So I'm in meetings, I see things, and some person starts talking, and everybody goes, oh, this guy again with his stupid ideas, right? Not appropriate for brainstorming, not appropriate at all in the workplace. You have to, respect people and the things that they do. So brainstorming is spontaneous group discussion to find multiple solutions for problems. And remember, I said the second right answer is what you want to look for, just because the first right answer the first right answer may get you $5 million, but that second right answer may get you 10 million. And I definitely like 10 million over 5 million. Works best for solving simple, well-defined problems. In the first session, the participants speak in phrases. Hitchhiking on others' ideas is encouraged. Criticism is forbidden, right? So you cannot criticize my stupid idea. Silliness is encouraged, and the climate is very, very relaxed. All ideas are recorded. A large quantity of ideas are encouraged. Now, in the second session, this is where we get down to the nitty-gritty. Return to a rational mode. All ideas are analyzed and prioritized. So you analyze my idea, it's stupid, cross it off. Prioritize the ideas. This is the most important. This is number one. This is number two. This is number three. Idea duplications are eliminated, right? These two are kind of closely aligned. Let's just make it one. Ideas are ranked in order of importance, right? Just like prioritizing them. And everyone gives evaluative input. So nominal group method, encourage creativity within a group framework by allowing everyone to offer ideas individually. So I have everybody go into separate rooms, ask them a question, and then they all come up with their ideas. Then we come back together, and it's a definitely a interesting way to do things, especially if people are so used to being in like a codependent group. So the steps involve each employee puts his or her ideas down in writing. The leader lists all the ideas up on the board. The leader lists the discussion to clarify the ideas and add new ones. Each member rates the ideas and votes, and a brief discussion on the voting results ensues, and the final voting is done to select the proposal to be used. So last one, you have to catch the other slides on your own. So you have the open mode state of mind, where one is relaxed, expansive, less purposeful, and more fun than the everyday closed mode. Self-perception, what and how one believes oneself to be. And either or fallacy, seeing only one of two extremes as a possible solution, ignoring the creative choices that may exist between those extremes. You always have to pay attention to what exists between those extremes. So as always, have a good day, a great week. Check out the other slides and read the chapter.